So that I think was a great show. So we can go to round 2. I'm not sure if we want to do all 5, depending on timing and stuff. But I'm willing to go through another round with you, and maybe what could happen is we could do another round, and then I can let you be, and then you can finish it on your own to see how well it works without me facilitating. Just because I think there's a basic pattern here, right? Like it's just 2 cards. One person does it, other person gets feedback. Then it goes to the other person, 2 cards, same thing, and you just keep going back and forth like that. And I think that's a very a good process. It's simple, it's repeatable. So would you like to do that?
Elijah, like we've got these cards out right now, so set them aside, or?
I think so. I think it's like you're putting these sort of spells together. So I think you might want to maybe place them on the wall, or maybe I'll make a nice map for you. But I think they're very significant in terms of it's just a start for that, right? Each of those can be used by you from now on for a reference point for now going to the remedy, going to the solution, or whatever that question is pointing to. Okay, so Laurie, you want to go next? I mean, first or next round?
I'm just picking whatever's here. What's the best way to get the Visionary Hub and the New Paradigm Toolkit out to the world?
Okay, like that one.
Awesome. So my convo type is sourcing, to find the location of a needed resource and methodology and price to acquire it, and responsibility, to value the ability of someone to respond to a situation. So it's just stepping up to responsibility, but realizing there's things that are holding us back. And I'm going, let's source it, because it's taking forever. Because if it's not something that you love to do, and it takes all this training to learn to make videos and do that. So the sourcing one is really powerful for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so over to you, Sylvia.
Yeah, when sourcing came out, it was about, okay, what do we need? What experts do we need to bring in to move the hub to the next stage?
Yeah, so that's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch over to you, Sylvia.
Okay, next question. Okay, how do we create deeper relationships in our group? So that's like a group space question. So, like with the people that we bring in, how do we create deeper relationships with those? So when we hold workshops and all of that, because you and I, we're pretty good. It's the people that we bring in. Yeah. So how do we stay connected to them and all of that?
And have them leave here excited to come back.
Yes. Yeah, wanting more. Cool. Okay. So value and conversation. The value is simplicity. To value being free from complexity, in intricacy, or division into parts. And feedback. Sharing knowledge of the results of any behavior considered as influencing or modifying further performance. So feedback, as I see, get the people's feedback on how we're doing, and is our workshops, like, are they simple to follow and all of that. So always keeping simplicity in the mind and getting feedback from the people that we see. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Laurie?
Yeah, and I said the same thing. You know, when you go to different events and stuff and they have a sheet, they want to know, like, what did you think of this? What did you think of that? I think to have that consistent feedback and that questionnaire. And I know we talked about that a long time ago, is to be able to send that out to them and ask for their feedback with, say, 6 questions. Yeah.
Just
Like
keep
what-
it simple.
Yeah, what more would they like to learn about? So that gives us guidance on what
Yes.
to add.
Yeah.
So that would be a big part of the feedback. What more would you like to learn about?
Okay. Something comes to me is like you just did it earlier, I mean, there's the simplicity and feedback within the system, right? You're going back and forth and you're always giving feedback to one another in terms of
Yeah.
your perspective within this game. And then I saw what you did, Sylvia, is you gave feedback to Laurie that in some ways might be a little bit difficult and might be a little bit difficult to take. You know, we can tend to take criticism if, you know, if we're, it depends upon how we see how it's coming, right? And I think
Mhm.
having the sort of atmosphere of the visionary hub being one where it's safe to give feedback and there's, you know,
Yeah.
there's humor to it, or you know that you guys are a learning space, and that in a learning space, you know, it might be also be on the front door, you know, be ready for feedback, or or maybe on your window, do you need some feedback? I think, you know, here, I think, you know, feedback for me is I'm always hungry for the prototypes. And so I think it's hugely valuable for humans. Like there's certain conversation types. I mean, all of them are valuable, but just some of them are just, I think there's people out there that are just hungry to get feedback, but they don't have a methodology to get it, you know, and maybe what they grew up with in their family is they were criticized or shamed or made fun of, right? And that's sort of the, you know, the combo type sort of background. So
Awesome.
That's good.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so, oh, sorry.
No, I'm done. I think it's your turn.
Okay, choice and flow.
Yeah.
So choice and flow is perception and relationships. So the perception being the choice is a single unified awareness derived from sensory process while a stimulus is present, and relationships is a connection or association between people. So those are my two there. And I just see the relationships that not only Sylvia and I are building internally with the people that we work with internally, but now working the relationships of bringing people in. And our highest value around relationships or synergy in our own map is trust.
okay.
Yeah. So putting trust, and perception is just the way we see it. Because if we see it a certain way, how do we expect others to even see it in a different light if we're still stuck in the way that we need to see it?
And what was the value in the convo type again?
And the value is responsibility and sourcing.
So now put the four together.
So now I've got choice for perception is perception, flow is relationships, responsibility and sourcing. So I'm kind of thinking we have a product internally in here, and our talk yesterday on the radio, on TV, was about perceptions and seeing things through a different lens. And you just commented when we put the four together that it's like a telescope and we're seeing the different lenses and stuff. So perception's got something big here. And because I guess I've done the points of view training, that's what it's all about, and how that can fit into all the work we're doing in just a little different capacity. Right? Because it's pictures.
Perception is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sylvia, feedback?
Yeah, perception is, it just seems like it's really been a topic and really been out there surrounding us, and how impactful it is on relationships, and relationships could be anything, right? And yeah, to keep that awareness that other people do have different perceptions, and yeah, just awareness.
Collie, would you like to add something?
Well, it's interesting, perception, because for years I taught at the Vancouver Film School, a communication program that I designed, and part of the program was the map, our map, everyone has their own map of reality. So out of that map of reality is, perceptions are formed out of that map of reality. But what really is in behind perception is how people think about thinking, and the challenge is that most people don't know how they think about thinking.
Mm.
So if you don't know how you think about thinking, then to shift your perceptions and form a different map or to walk a mile in someone else's shoes is very challenging. It's very challenging because in the brain, when I see you on camera, there's a certain shift inside of me, but in order for my physiology to change, which it is now because I'm moving, it has to go through many filter systems, which are, beliefs, values, memories, language, all these different things are going on while I'm watching you. And then my physiology changes, right? So when we see someone, if I look at you and you reminded me of, say, for example, a teacher that I had that, was very harshly critical, it would create a whole different map of reality for me, right? And my behavior would change. Whereas if it was a teacher that I really liked, that too would shift me and change my physiology. So whenever we are communicating, this is the dance of communication. And it's all, yes, perception, but the perception is based on the map of reality, which is formed through the filters in the brain that create physiology. So that's my little input there.
Thank you. That's very insightful to me.
Well, the map of reality, right? There's 4 of us sitting here, and what is our own map of reality?
Exactly. And it's only when we come to be able to step back and walk a mile in another's shoes that we can actually have compassion, or that we can have understanding, or that we can have a relationship.
Mm.
Wow.
Okay, over to you.
Because then we are relating to, right? And the relationship, if you take the 2 words, because I love words, you take relationship and you take relation and ship. It's movement. It's not stagnant. It's a relation that's on a ship. It's moving.
Okay, over to you, Sylvia.
Were they ever good? This is my deaf friend. He became deaf when he got vaccinated for the measles at age 4.
Oh my
You
God.
talk about somebody that is adamant. No. And he's 70 years old.
And he's very sweet and kind.
Yeah, he's like my big brother Elijah.
Okay, so Sylvia, on to your next.
Okay, I am taking choice and flow. All right, choice is purpose, the reason for which something exists or is done, made or used. That's so cool. Duration, the time during which something exists or lasts.
Or lost.
Or lasts, right?
Sorry, what was choice again?
Choice was purpose. Wow. We'll take pictures of our cards too, and we can send them to you.
He's writing them down.
Oh, okay. Okay. So in relation to the question, how do we create deeper relationships in our groups? Is by being clear on our purpose and be honoring time frames, right? And because I know some of our workshops have gone over or started late and things like that. So being I'd say something exists or lasts. So being aware of our duration of our time, duration, yeah. And then, yeah, purpose. Make sure we're clear on our purpose and we are with our group on purpose and not, getting off course kind of thing. And if I put these together, okay, purpose, duration, oh, I guess feedback and simplicity. Yeah, keep it simple. Keep true to our purpose. And yeah, get the feedback. Always get the feedback. So I probably went a step ahead, right?
What was the question again?
How do we create a deeper relationship in our group? In our group.
When you say group, what does that mean?
Well, when we have groups together.
So
like
the
our
group
workshop
is,
groups.
okay, yeah, okay. So with our customers, our clients. Okay.
Hey, Laurie, your feedback?
I just see purpose. I see, all of us have a purpose on this planet. And what I see is using the tool of the Visionary Hub and what it can bring for us to live our purpose through this company. And it's going to take time, but it is to keep it simple and not over complex. Don't make it complex. The world, the economic system is way too complex and it needs to simplify. So that took me a little bit to the economic system as well. I don't know why, but I think it was just the purpose and the fact that I was in the money world and they make it overcomplicated. So people would rather bury their head in the sand than deal with stuff and become prosperous.
Mm.
But it takes time. That's where I see the duration. Nothing to do with our workshops. I thought we kept those pretty good, but the duration is more like I want to be there right now. I want to be changing the world right now and sitting back and just allowing it to take its, I don't even know the meaning.
The time during which something exists or lasts.
Oh, and the like I'm Louise Hay. She started her business at 65 and I see the duration that the Visionary Hub gets built and I'm going to be gone from this planet, but it's just going to be carrying on through generations. So that's duration.
I also see that because the question is to get closeness in the clients or the groups, that I think that feedback to people about their purpose and having a focus on their purpose, and that, if you're having long-term clients, having like knowing what their purpose is and then being able to give feedback on their purpose in a simple way so that they can achieve whatever it is, that would be massive, I think, too.
Yeah, awesome.
Collie, would you like to add?
Oh, I was just going into a place with with family ancestry and how it plays out with regards to purpose as well as duration and allotment for feedback, as well as keeping it simple. And a lot of times people don't understand. They don't know, because you can't know until you know, and once you know, you cannot not know, right? So a lot of times when people are looking for their purpose, they're actually living out someone else's because of the fact of what is called hidden loyalties.
Oh, yeah.
So those hidden loyalties run very deep. And so to give someone your purpose, to share your purpose when it is actually coming from the depth of your soul, is a lot different than just giving them head stuff to attract them, to bring them in, to give them something and hoping that you're going to have a business that stays for a long duration. People aren't stupid. I mean, there are a lot of people that are asleep, but when it comes right down to it, when you are with people, they know at a very deep level whether you're coming from an authenticity or not. And they may have a lot of layers, but they can really feel into that. So keeping things simple and sharing your authentic soul-driven purpose as opposed to the mind stuff will keep people coming back, and the duration will go on. And feedback is very important for the people that do come, but also for the people that are giving the, whatever they're giving. There's no such thing as failure, it's just feedback, right? So we can only grow if we get feedback, but a lot of people, like you mentioned, if they come from a family or anyone in instruction, that there's been harsh criticism, it's really, there's all this defense wall right there. So it's
Okay.
a matter of being able to go through that.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. That's pretty,
I love that. Yeah.
Laurie,
I'm going now to.
synergy and harmony.
Synergy and harmony, right on. Okay, so synergy is creativity and harmony is technology. So creativity being the subsystem that formulates the system's products and gifts so the system's purpose, vision, and goals can be realized. And then the technology, the sum and the ways in which social groups provide themselves in material objects of a civilization. So I feel that creativity, yes, it's like getting all the stuff we do, but bringing it into a simple thing to get the mission and the vision out there to the world through being creative, but then getting it out there in technology.
And isn't it interesting
that's
today
good.
you've had to deal with technology?
Yes.
I feel technology. So like, as you know, right now with COVID, people aren't as keen coming into space, but they'll still do technology. So it's getting our stuff online and to be able to get out there with it. Cool.
Awesome.
And then with my responsibility and the sourcing, the same thing comes up. Technology, we'll be with you in a sec. Technology, we need to source it because it's not the gifts that we have. There.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Sylvia, feedback?
I'll be right back.
Yeah, and again, right, sourcing the technology or what we need and always be creative to keep things interesting and to keep people's attention. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so over to you, Sylvia.
Okay. Okay, synergy is infrastructure, the subsystem that regulates the system's resources to balance the need of the present moment from the future. And arts, the cultural side of society, the various branches of creative activities such as painting, music, literature, and dance. Wow. So in relation to the question, how do we create deeper relationships in our group, is by the infrastructure and to balance the need of the present moment in the future. So how we market, like what we put out there, to what's our message out there to the people. And when they come to us, being in the present, that we have a structure in place. And again, it's simple, and arts to me is just the different, is almost like creativity to keep things interesting. So we've got to be creative.
Okay, over to you, Laurie.
And then the arts for me, because arts often, you know, when you're young and you're in school, arts just kind of get pushed to the side because that's just extra stuff,
Yes.
when really that is the whole creative side of us humans. So that art one is really powerful to go with my creativity, but the infrastructure, because I'm thinking more of the finances, the money, the pricing and all that comes into play, is to get all that in alignment so there's no hesitation when we're putting something out there or someone goes like, what does it cost to do this? We've got it, just snap, snap, snap. So just because I know infrastructure fits into kind of that realm of economics and money and everything like that. So that's where we, you know, we have to get that
To build
figured
on.
out. Yeah.
Okay, Collie.
Well, definitely when it comes to the arts, the creative, this is a very, very creative
Yeah.
space, because there's continual creativity happening here. And the infrastructure is being built, right? And the creativity will lead them to the solidification of the infrastructure, and from that the price point can come.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's
There we
awesome.
go.
Cool.
Thank you. So, and also, I guess we start to bring over the two harmony cards are arts and technology. So art technology, the synergy is infrastructure and creativity. The flow is duration of relationship or relationship duration, and choice is perception, purpose perception. So all of that, I mean, they all kind of align quite nicely in terms of, you know, basically people using your space to bring their purpose into the world, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which is very creative.
Which is
Yeah.
totally creative. Which
And
is
so,
what I
and
love.
so
Harmony is,
the sourcing could be having people look to the visionary hub to be the source, you know, for feedback. It's like, okay, so why don't we do a quick summing up of what you've got from this round?
Mhm.
Do you want to start, Laurie?
Yeah, so what I see in this round, because often I'll look and I see that I've got the creative and the arts and the cards that each of us are pulling and how much they're actually aligning with each other in what we're taking to the world. So I'm really happy with the creativity and the arts and purpose, Elijah, because I think that's a lot of the dis-ease in the world is people not feeling purpose. So the visionary hub can be that creative place to come in, and when they start working on their life purpose, they want continual growth and elevation. So, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that flow of consistency with the clients and the people that come through here instead of a one-off, because that's what's been happening.
Right, right.
Yeah, so that's what I got out of that.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, Sylvia?
And what's speaking to me is the technology and to have things in place. So as you say, the infrastructure, and I think once those things are in place, along with the feedback, that things for us will flow that much easier, and it'll flow easier for the people as they come in and out. Things will just really flow. It'll be a nice harmony flow.
Elijah, do you remember what you said about the visionary hub as a place? And you said it, and a girl came in the door, so I didn't hear it, but it almost feels like it could be a bit of our vision statement. Do you remember what you said? Or does anyone?
Well, I think it was something for supporting your purpose, for identifying and getting feedback and continual learning about bringing your purpose into the world. Collie, do you have something to add?
I very much see the connection between the arts and technology, because technology can be very artful. If a person's perception shifts to not see it as a technology only, because it can be very art and creative driven, which it is when it's used to its fullest potential. And with regards to people being, at a place where they need to or want to or don't know what they want with regards to purpose, it's the situation we're in right now in the world is there's a lot of uneasiness, and you can't have a body that is diseased or has dis-ease. It's because it's not at ease. So you can't, if you're at ease, there's not a disconnect. But as soon as you have a disconnect there, and so consequently now what's happening is people are disconnecting from source. They're connecting from their soul, they're connecting from all of this, of which it's challenging to bring someone to a place of finding purpose until they align. So when that alignment happens, then they're not at dis-ease, they're not uneasy within. And so then the flow can happen, and the creativity and the purpose can be driven from the soul level.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. So I'll do a bit of a summing up just in terms of, this has been round 2. As you can see, 5 questions is probably too much. 2 questions is good. It's up to you. What I'll do is I'll leave you guys, if you want to go back in and do it on your own and see how it flows without me facilitating, because I think it's fairly simple. And I think you should do that just to kind of see what it's like without the facilitator. I would leave you with sort of an assignment. I think that you need to practice playing with each other with this game, and also bringing in some couples or bringing in some people to sit down and for you to practice taking people through the experience. I think that's a next step in terms of before you're going to, like at some point I see you in a room with like 20 couples and 10 game boards, and you could facilitate all of them at the same time, but we have to sort of work up to that. So we just have to sort of,
Is it? Okay.
Everything in steps, right? So I think next step is you guys using it on your own. And then I would say, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week, I think you should be sitting down at the game board just between the 2 of you and playing it out and just seeing like what happens quickly or what works and what doesn't work. And we'll work on, I'll take what we did today and I'll make a bit of a step sheet, just so you have a step sheet that you can have. But I think we should be aiming at, a game board goes with each one of the card sets. And we're looking to sort of build the new paradigm toolkit as it goes out with all the sort of, what are the basics that are necessary. This is a two-person game board. There's a lot of 1-person game boards. And as you know, you've got a 12-person, but there's a 9-person, an 8-person, a 6-person, a 5-person, a 4-person, and a 3rd-person game board that the cards can be used with. So I think that's good for today. Do you have any questions or anything you want to say?
No, it's pretty cool. And so the question I have is, like, you've got round 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That one I don't understand, or this is our first round. We've gone, the start and finish are the 10 or 7 questions that we would have, the 5 questions we would have.
Well, I think each question is a round, but then I'm not so sure about the mini steps between it. I'm not so sure that's really that necessary. Might want to take that off the game board, because I don't think, like, basically you're just going back and forth and each person having a turn, and then the other person has a turn for feedback. And then the difference between round 1 and round 2 is, in round 2, Collie was giving her feedback and perception into the round, when in round 1 she wasn't. So that was just to give you a sort of difference between the two, because sometimes you might want the observer to participate and bring in the elder wisdom, and then sometimes you don't. You just want them to hold space, right? Because it's just between the couple or you or whatever's going on. So it's a big decision. I think it's a really good idea to have an observer, just because it just adds so much more to the experience. But then some couples or people, they may not want that. So it's always up to you to decide that. So congratulations. That was fantastic. I thought that everyone was just on fire today and giving, insights that I think you can see that this can be used by anybody. This can be used by couples. This can be used by teacher, student, any type of relationship out there. I think this could be used for, and custom design. Like, you could have custom design questions. You could actually you yourselves could choose the values or the flow or the choice cards. Or you could just go random from the beginning and have no choice, you know, don't make a smaller set and just let them go from the get-go.
Yeah.
Again, up to you guys what you want to do. I just want to give you some of the sort of examples of it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I think you're right. Now to think of the sets of people that could be here. And to me, this is something that's a little more intimate because at the hub wheel, at the hub table, there's room for 12 people.
Yeah.
Some people are shy. They might only want to be very much more, you know, work with one other person. Yeah.
And I think, you know, what you might do is you could go through all the people who've done the hub factor and you could say, we've got a new game board in, we're testing, and you could bring them in duos.
Well, that's a great idea.
And I think you have to, like, you're building up your clientele and you're building up a bit of the buzz, right? And so, you know, at some point you have to decide, okay, how many times you're going to test this before we start charging money, kind of thing. And that's going to be up to you guys to decide. So I would use your closer people who know what you're doing to keep on bringing them into the new things. And then at some point, you know, hopefully all of that creates more of a buzz about what's going on at the Visionary Hub.
Yeah. And I think you're right, Elijah. I really feel youth would really, really catch on with this.
Yeah.
So we just have to go into a school, take it into a school and have it as part of a course for a day, a core class for a day. And they come, or for a class for an hour, and we do this with them. We just need to make those movements.
Okay, so
Hey,
Awesome.
that's it. Great to meet you, Collie, and wonderful
great.
to be with you three.
Yes, it was an honor. Thank you so much for allowing and for accepting and acknowledging me. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, super.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Okay.
Elijah.
bye.
See you.
See